Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona. Thanks for being here today. As always, like, share, subscribe, do all that internet magic stuff. Today I have a very special open roll edition for you. As you can see, I'm wearing gloves, which always means it's time for your colonoscopy. But actually, let's go ahead and take a look here and see. Can you see the writing on here? That's the big question that I'm having right now, because we've got some type of writing on this. And I don't know if we can really make it out or not. Very, very faint all the way across. See, that is, I'm upside down, but I see the word halves right there. That is the H-A-L-V. That I can make out. We might have to do some other type of science here. This part is the part I'm having a hard time making out. Let's see what this says, what it looks like it might say. Oh, that's a 10 and a dollar sign with a circle. So this is, I think, just a generic roll that says 10 on it and says halves, and you can kind of tell it's not quite full. This ends up opened a little bit higher than the other. I had one of my guys at the shop say, "Hey, I got something fun for you," which I never know what that means, because that could really turn into something like a colonoscopy. But this, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun, so I thought I would share it with the universe here. Let me see if I can do this in a way that's gonna. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what we're looking at here, this is a Booker T. Washington $50. And sometimes we look at open rolls and we think, well, clearly they're all put together, and then other times you look at them and you say, okay, what are the clues and hints that something's been around together since the 1950s? Couple things. So this is not always the case. You don't always have toning at both ends like this, but oftentimes in the old paper holder you end up with toning on both ends and on the edges. And what I want you to look at here is the edges are super clean, crisp, and sharp, brand new, and also they are all mostly, toned over in a similar pattern. These are kind of indicators of things that when you work at a coin shop, you get to see what they look like, and then you get to see what they look like underneath, which is pretty cool on these guys. Just brilliant coins. I think I'm gonna move my tray out of the way here, because it is a little bit of a harder plastic, and I'd rather put them down on the velvet underground here. All right, so let's take a look here at these Booker T. Washingtons and just talk a little bit about it. There is, above the word Liberty, you see the S. That is the mint mark. So these are San Francisco series. Booker T. Washington, from slave cabin to Hall of Fame, Franklin County, Virginia. In God we trust. Booker T. Washington birthplace memorial. Never been there. Maybe some of you have. 1950, $50, and here we go. His name is on both sides of the coin. E pluribus unum, United States of America. That is something that is actually kind of unusual. You don't really see that. I'm trying to think of what other coins have someone's name. There are a couple coins with someone's image and likeness on both sides of the coin, so they can get some NIL money out of that. This particular series here. So the commemorative series, if you go to your red book, they're actually in chronological order, which makes sense. The Booker T. Washingtons were made from 46 to 51. So actually that first year of 46, you can see these huge production rates of 700,000 and $500,000 on the Philadelphia and San Francisco mint. And then after that, you see 6,000, 8,000, 6,000, 6,000. And then we get a little bit of a bump here, and you can see we actually have the more common type. So the 50, the San Francisco mint, for some reason, made a lot of them. And in 51, the Philadelphia mint. Now, one of the reasons this is all conjecture right now, what I'm about to say, which, somehow is different than what I normally say, is these coins actually circulated. Unlike a lot of the earlier commemoratives, where you saw, look at right before that, you get the 37. Here we go with like a Antietam, 18,000. Those never circulated. The coins that we see that are circulated often are going to be the Colombian $50 and then the Booker T. Washingtons. And so these coins were actually produced and circulated. There's a chance that this group of coins was actually kept together from the 50s this whole time from a bankroll. It's unlike some of the coins that were distributed through a different mint process. These actually would have gone out through the banking system. So a couple of stunning pieces here. There's a major concern for those of you who are thinking, well, like, do you get these coins certified? What do you do? Let's talk a little bit about that on the price points and whether or not you can actually get these coins certified. My first concern is, after being in that paper for a long time, one of the things that you'll see on here is amazingly original surfaces and a touch of haze. And that's somewhat problematic because when you get a haze to the surface of a coin, it's really leaning towards they're not going to certify it. I say leaning towards because there's a lot of coins that'll have a little bit of haze and they'll still certify as long as it's not like a heavy, because they won't consider it environmental damage. They'll simply consider it to be something that is almost more like a toning situation. So once again, you can see a whole lot of that going on there and just a ton of luster. So what does it look like if you're going to take something like these and possibly get them certified? Well, if you look at, this is a listing from the gray sheet. Here are the coins from the 1950s. The gray sheet lists them in as a set and then individually. So on these particular coins, we're going to look here and see this column way down. Okay, this black line, this is 65 and 66. So this bottom line here, so an MS65 coin bids for $60 on that coin. And then a 66 bids for 85, and that's a CAC number. And then a 67 bids for 300. And so you can see that the San Francisco Mint is the least expensive. You look at that compared to both the Denver Mint, which is next, and the Philadelphia Mint. Now, part of that is, of course, going to be relative to populations, and those populations are relative to mintages. So you can see just how much mintage can affect price and value and grade on the number of coins that become certified, how many are available, and just in the open marketplace, what they trade at in difference. And of course, then you get to a 68. They don't have a line here at 68 because it turns into an auction coin for these two. They have a price point here, which I'd be curious to find out how accurate that is. Usually those 68 numbers are based on a couple of auctions. So, I mean, really, there's not crazy huge movement here. An MS65 coin is going to be, a $50 to $60 coin. So you're looking at gem coins being in that $50 to $100 range, basically. And then it's not until you get to a superb gem, a 67, before you see an actual jump. So if we were to send all of these in, just for the heck of it, to see how they come back, really, the big jump is if you get to a 67. The quality here so far, as I'm looking at them, is very comparable from one coin to the next. Like I said before, super nice, super fresh, super original. I would, if I do send them all in, I would send them in as is. I don't think that I would in any way try to get rid of that haze. I say that now, and I'm kind of thinking about, okay, well, if I send these in to PCGS, let's say, to get them certified, there's the cost involved, but then also if I actually want them to remove the haze, see, I don't know that I would remove the haze myself. If I wanted them to remove the haze, then you're looking at paying their conservation fees. And I don't know how much that is offhand because I hadn't really thought about it. It's been a while. It's been a minute, as they say. And so, but that could add another $15 or $20 a coin. I'm just trying to think of the last time I had it done, how much it ended up costing me. So this particular group of coins, there is 17 of them. And so it is missing 3 coins. They are undoubtedly in a fountain somewhere, possibly in the San Francisco Bay, who knows. But hopefully somebody bought some Ghirardelli chocolate with them. That's always what you're going for. If you're going to be in San Francisco, you got to go to the Ghirardelli building, because it's been there forever. Okay, this one's got a big snot bubble. So like that guy, you see the extra level of environmental damage. When I talk about you know, they might grade it with a little bit of haze, but then you get stuff like that on there. That type of stuff is the type of thing that'll kill a coin in the grading service. It'll just be like, well, no, we're going to call that environmental damage. So, all right, well, you guys can leave your comments down below. I'm still thinking I'm going to send these guys off because it'll make another good little piece of content for everyone to enjoy together, just to see how they come back. An original roll. It's been a long time since I've had anything quite like this. And sometimes people ask, you know, how different is the business from when it was, you know, 25 years ago? And it's a little different in the fact that it feels like we would have seen something like this a little bit more frequently than we do nowadays. But, you know, there's still fun, fresh steals out there. They're just kind of few and far between. All right, guys, thanks so much for being here. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.